What's going on, guys? It's FastCutting1 and welcome to another episode of Head to Head. This is the series in which you guys, the viewers, give me two weapons to compare, and then I'll give you my thoughts on both weapons and also tell you which one I personally prefer the most. Now, as suggested by you guys, today I will be taking a look at two PDWs, and that is the MP7 and the P90. But before I do carry on, I first want to talk a little bit more about these weapons because I've noticed that in Battlefield 4 they are very underused compared to how they were back in Battlefield 3. Now, I think this has to do a lot with how the PDWs have been made very limited by only making them effective at extreme close ranges, and the fact that Battlefield 4 barely has any maps that offer those close quarter situations just puts every PDW at a disadvantage, and I can definitely see why many people have stopped using the PDWs altogether. But going back to the MP7 and the P90, they are without a doubt some of the better PDWs for those extreme close range situations, because most of the time you will find yourself outgunning most of your enemies, that is if they aren't using a shotgun. Now, to know more or less of how these weapons perform, let's go ahead and take a look at their stats. So the MP7 does a maximum damage of 20 versus the slightly higher damage model on the P90 of 21 damage. Now, both the MP7 and the P90 do a minimum damage of 11.2 with their drop off starting at 8 meters and then trailing down at 60 meters. Where we do start to see a few differences is with their rate of fire, coming in at 950 rounds per minute for the MP7 and 900 rounds per minute for the P90. Now, when it comes to the muzzle velocity, the MP7 has a slightly lower muzzle velocity than the P90, coming in at 420 meters per second versus the P90's muzzle velocity coming in at 460 meters per second. The magazine size on the MP7 is 41 rounds, and that comes with reload times of 2.9 seconds when fully empty and 2.5 seconds when one bullet left in the chamber. As for the P90, this weapon has a magazine size of 51 rounds, and that comes with reload times of 3.45 seconds when fully empty and 2.45 seconds with one bullet left in the chamber. As for the MP7's recoil patterns, this weapon pulls up by 0.35, pulls to the left by 0.2, and pulls to the right by 0.4. Now, with the P90, the recoil patterns are quite a bit different, pulling by 0.35 from all sides. So as we can see, these weapons definitely do have quite a few differences, especially when it comes to the damage, rate of fire, and muzzle velocity. But the thing is that when I was using them, I didn't notice that at all. I mean, if we take the MP7 for example, even though it shoots faster than the P90, the P90 is able to make up for that by dealing a bit more damage, and the same goes for their muzzle velocity as well, because even though the P90 has a faster muzzle velocity, the MP7 is able to make up for that by firing a bit faster. And so basically what I'm trying to say here is that when it comes to the damage, rate of fire, and muzzle velocity, these weapons felt pretty much identical to each other. Now, where I started to notice a few more drastic changes is with the recoil, because once you get past the high first shot recoil of the P90, the weapon just seems to settle back down and you no longer have to counter for that much recoil. This is not the case with the MP7, because after its first shot recoil, this weapon seems to have a very strong pull to the right, but also a very strong vertical pull as well, making it very hard to control once you get past that 20 meter mark. And this definitely has to be the MP7's biggest downside, because if it weren't for all that recoil making this weapon go all over the place, it would have definitely be a better weapon. So another reasonable difference between these two weapons is that the P90 just felt way more accurate than the MP7, and it seemed that the MP7 spread did get out of control very quickly due to it having a much higher rate of fire than the P90, and this is why I did feel like I needed to fire a few more rounds down range to take out a single enemy. So in the end, if I were to pick one of these weapons, it would without a doubt be the P90, and the reason for that is that compared to the MP7, it just felt like a more balanced PDW. But let me know guys, which one out of these two weapons would you prefer and why? Also, don't forget to leave 2 weapons in the comment section below that you would like to see go head to head for next week's episode. Also, if you did enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a rating for it, as it always helps out the video and the channel a lot. If you're new around here, feel free to subscribe for weekly Battlefield videos. And as always, this is Fast1, and see you in the next video.